In class, we're going to go over 2.3, multiplying and solving equations. So we'll continue on with the multi-step. So what we're going to do is use the distributive property and then combine like terms from there. So we'll use the distributive property first, and then we'll combine like terms. So we'll start out actually with the example, not using the distributive property, but of combining like terms. So if I were to draw that line again, I'd have two sides of the equation. I look to the left-hand side. On the left-hand side, I have 3a plus 6 plus a. So I can combine 3a plus a gives me 4a. So once you have that, now you have that left-hand side. Now we continue with what we did in yesterday's lesson. So we go ahead, get rid of the 6. So instead of adding 6, we subtract 6 from each side. So 6 minus 6 cancels out, and 90 minus 6 is 84. Then we have 4a, so that would be 4 times a. The opposite of multiplying by 4 would be dividing by 4. Go ahead, 84 divided by 2 would be 21. So my answer is 21. So that's the idea that we want to do. We want to go ahead and distribute a property, combine like terms where we can. Then, once we combine like terms, then we'll go through, do subtraction and addition first, and then multiplication and division last. So we have this. Do we have any like terms? Again, if you look, you have a or x plus x, which would give me 2x. We want to combine those, and now we go through and solve it. We want to go ahead and look at it again. If we looked at it, we want to get rid of subtraction first. So if we're adding 25, then we'd subtract 25. Gives us 38. Then to get rid of the 2, we divide by 2. 38 divided by 2 would give me 19. These cancel off. So each time I want you to draw the river, draw this line right through here, go from there. So now we're going to go ahead and solve by distributing. So if I come here, so if I look, I have 2 on the outside, so that means I'm going 2 times x and 2 times 3. So that's my distributive property going up. 2 times x would be 2x, 2 times 3 would be 6. So there's no like terms to this side. You have 2x and 6. So I should draw it. 2x and 6. There's only 8 over there. So now we're going to solve. So to get rid of the 6, we add it. 8 plus 6 is 14. These 6's cancel off. Then to get rid of the 2, we divide by 2 and solve from there. So we only look at the side with x on it. Once we distribute, okay, draw your river, we want to just look at the side with x. So now what do we do with fractions? Well, we're going to do the same thing. Combine like terms. So if I look at 3x and x, can I add these two together? 3 over 2 and x over 5. They don't have a common denominator, so we need to make a common denominator. So my common denominator would be 10. So I'm going to multiply this by 2 over 2 and this by 5 over 5. So you don't quite see it, but this should be 5 over 5, 2 over 2. So 3 times 5 is 15. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 5 is 10. Draw your river, and now we can combine like terms. They both have an x, so we just add them. 15 plus 2 is 17, x over 10. And now from the first lesson we did, we'd multiply by the reciprocal, 10 over 17. So when we do that, we'd have 7 times 10 would be 70, and this is over 1. 1 times 17 would be 17. So it would be 70 over 17, and you could leave it that way. We can't simplify anymore because 17 is a prime number. Last type of example that you'll have is you're going to have a decimal point. So when you look at a decimal point, this is what I do. I don't like working with decimal points. I want to work with whole numbers. So to get rid of this decimal point, I'd have to move it over 1. To get rid of this decimal point, I'd have to move it over 1, 2. To get rid of this one, I'd have to move it over 1, 2. So the most I would have to move is 2. So we're going to move all decimal points 2 places. Right? So if we do that, that's multiplying by 2 decimal points is multiplying by 100. So we go over and move this one over 2 spots. 1, 2. So we move it over 1, 2, which gives us 60. Move this one over 1, 2, which gives us 1,865. Move this one over 1, 2, which gives us 2,285. And now we have it, whole terms. How do I get rid of 1,865? Well, it's adding, so the opposite of adding is subtraction. These would cancel off. I'd have 68 equals 420. To get rid of 60, we divide by 60, so A is equal to 7. Our last example for today is a story problem. So if you look at it, you need to build a rectangular pen in your backyard for your dog. One side of the pen will be against the house, and the two sides of the pen have a length of X. So we have two sides, and I'll draw the picture right here. Here's our house right here. We have two sides that are length X. They're the same size. We don't know what it is. And we have another side that's 25. Okay? What is the greatest length the pen can be if you have 63 feet of fencing? So if I added up this length, and this length, and this length here, we should have 65 feet of fencing. So what we're going to go ahead and do is write an equation. So to find how the perimeter, we add up X plus 25 plus X, and that should be 63 feet. So we'd write that. Okay? What does X stand for? X is the length of our side, of this side here. So we'd say X plus 25, X plus 25 plus X is equal to 63. And now it's an equation for us to solve. We'd say X plus X is 2X plus 25. So we're only looking at the left-hand side. How do I get rid of 25? We'd subtract it. Once we have that, we have 2X equals 38. How do we get rid of 2? We divide. So X would be, the length of each side would be 19 feet. So as you go forward, all right, just remember a few things that we want to just isolate one side, solve for one side. So draw your river. We want to do combine like terms if possible, or distribute if need to. Do those things first. Then after you distribute, then we want to do addition, subtraction. So add or subtract to get rid of a term, and then multiply and divide last.